This week's show brought to you by Frank Shoup, Georgetown's big name in cars. Georgetown Advantage Air, now locally owned and operated by Gene Thompson.
Welcome everybody to the Scott County Cardinals Coaches Show, the boys basketball coaches show, of course, with Coach Hicks. Caleb Covington is our guest this week, one of the few seniors on the team this year, and I'm Kal Oakes, your host. We'll be talking Scott County basketball. It's been another good week for you guys. You got through it another undefeated week, and some challenges, some good tests. One in particular from North Laurel on Saturday night's the one that stands out.
I tell you, Peyton, Broughton, Cal, just a really tremendous competitor. I've never, he goes as hard on offense as any player I've seen in quite a while. Boy, he just plays with so much determination, and he follows his shot. He hits that mid-range jumper. He's got a good set three. He follows his shot. He scores in so many ways. He's tough off the dribble. I was really impressed with him, Cal. I think he really plays hard on offense. Notice I keep saying offense. You watch that film, they don't burn like that.
Doesn't burn up a lot of head. Well, it's funny. I don't think I've seen a player who's basically a wing score 39 without a three-pointer in a long time, and that's what he did.
And it wasn't like we'd let him. Somebody said back in the old days, Rupp would let Pete Maravich, Pistol Pete, get his 60.
Let him get his.
And beat the rest of them. No, we didn't let him get a point.
No,
we made him work for everything he got. And just a tremendous effort by a young man, and shoot, I'm proud of him. I mean, he played a heck of a game, but we didn't give him anything. He earned everything he got.
What do you think enabled you guys to pull away in the end of that game, Caleb? Fourth quarter, third quarter, they made a run at you, and then you guys pulled away again. What was it?
One thing that really helped us was we locked down Peyton. We found a way to guard him, and also we became more unselfish and found our shot near the end of the game. Did good in that.
Seemed like a lot of different people kind of took turns guarding him in that game. Was that kind of the way?
I had the pleasure of guarding him, and he's a very good player and very difficult to guard. I know Cooper Watts and Dakota Allen had the pleasure of guarding him too.
What do you have to do? Just at all times stay between him and the basket if at all possible?
Yeah, just stay in the passing lane mainly. Just don't let him get the ball in the first place. Really helps.
That's the best.
And when he has it, just stay in front of him as hard as you can. Stay real close up into him. Put as much pressure as you can. I
thought the thing that made a difference in that game, and it kind of leads into the Bryan Station game again, is that Cooper Watts has just continued to elevate his game.
Gosh, I know they sort of call him DD now, double-double.
Yeah, exactly going on.
The last 5 games, he's averaged a double-double, and then just watching how he's jumping now, Cal, even in practice. Gosh, he's jumping out of the gym now. He's really a heck of an athlete, and to see him come on, that's been a big difference in our basketball team. And it really, it makes happier than anybody. Michael Reno. Now they can't double team Michael anymore. They can't double team Michael, and they can't just concentrate on stopping him because that's what he has to, do. And that's where the guy beside us, Caleb has worked himself into the role now to where when Cooper and Michael have to come out, Caleb can step in, and Caleb is having trouble with his shot offensively, but Caleb plays really good defense. He's not turning the ball over and everything. He takes charge. He took more charges this year than probably the rest of the team put together. And it's just a tough kid. And Caleb has a way, too, of annoying people when he comes. He gets after him. He plays physical and makes them mad. So that's good. You want a guy to come off the bench and bring the energy in there and do that. So that's really helped us. So as you get into the season, everybody starts settling into your roles. Mm-hmm. Early in the year, Cal, you look to play a 10-man rotation, 12-man rotation, but now as you get close to tournament time,
you can't do that.
You're giving everybody all year. You settle into a 7-8-man rotation, and that's what we're sort of headed in that direction now, and because that's what you need to have come tournament time.
Do you take pride in that part of your role? You're in there 3, 4, 5 minutes at a time, being annoying, being a pest,
I just gotta know what I gotta do for the team. That's my role. So whenever I get in, oftentimes I'm guarding the Peytons of the group, and just try to ignore them as much as possible and play as good D as I can.
Is that kind of by design? Because a lot of times, I don't want to jinx it, but Michael never gets in foul trouble. Cooper often does. So sometimes he's going in for Cooper, and
Right.
Cooper often guards the other team's best
Other
players.
team's best player.
Sometimes is it just a product of that? He's going to get that
That's
guy.
exactly that's by design. We have him. We want Caleb to go in, and he picks up the other team's best wing or forward, and he's good on the point. We put Caleb on the point because he will play hard. If Caleb plays hard, and he's a tough kid, so that's what you want when you're bringing it in there with it. We got guys sitting on the bench that probably can shoot the ball better than Caleb, maybe a better athlete than Caleb. And Caleb's a really good athlete too, though. But what Caleb brings is that toughness, and Caleb plays hard. He plays hard all the time, and that's what you got to have when you come to the game.
Tuesday night against Bryan Station, first 4 minutes of the game, I think you scored 3 points. The rest of the game, you scored 88 more and ran away with it. What finally clicked for you in that game?
Well, I thought their pressure bothered us at first. I think their man-to-man got up there, and we had trouble really attacking the basket, and not trouble attacking. It got down to Michael down low, and Michael's been scoring over 6'8" and 6'9" down there, and Michael kicked it out. Michael pump and go put that thing in down low. So I think we just looked a little bit out of sync there, Cal, when we got going with that thing. Again, like I say, I'm sure Bryan Station had something to do with that. Their pressure, they're very athletic, but I think once I thought Bryce Long had really hit some really big shots, as did Cooper Robb to get us going there early on, and Cooper Watts got those big putbacks, and then eventually Michael started being Michael.
They kind of seem to have their most athletic guy shadowing Michael early. I think that's what Michael felt like anyway. And then they were kind of daring the other guys to beat them well.
Yeah, and Michael's drawing that, and again, that's why Cooper Watts is getting that double-double every night, every game, because he has last night, 12 rebounds, 13 points last night. And, 13 rebounds, 12 points. These teams are really trying to shut Michael down. But again, they can't do that. If you got balance, it's really hard. It's really hard to do that and everything. But it was really good to see Bryce. Bryce really shot the ball really well. Cooper Robb has just he's been on a tear late. His jump shot, he don't hit rim. It's just dead center when he shoots that thing now.
We mentioned you being one of the few seniors on the team. How does that kind of enhance your role? You've got to be a leader out there, both on the floor and when you're off the floor and at practice, I would say.
We got a lot of young guys on the team, and of course, Michael and Bryce and Cam have that experience, but a lot of those kids don't, and we just need to know when to step in and help each other out and pick the guy up that needs to be picked up, just to where they don't have that experience that they need.
When you're starting 3 or 4 sophomores at a time, I'm sure you lean heavily on a guy like that. You never know when he's going to be going to the game.
Cal, I've coached so long, I notice everything, and one thing I do notice is Caleb is really good on the bench. Keeping that lower end of the bench, keeping those guys focused, keeping them straight. If they get out of whack down there, Caleb is pretty quick to get them straightened out on the bench and everything. Like I said, we got some young guys, and they're all good kids. They wouldn't be on teams they weren't, but sometimes they don't handle coaching right sometimes. And then Caleb has to, because he's back there and he's around that. So, and Caleb does a really good job of handling that. Or the kid comes down, he's down, Caleb picks him up. And that's even more important than what he does on the floor is what he does with the team during the course of a ball game or before a game and after a game stuff to keeping guys just helping guys.
Something interesting about the past couple of games. Now, early in the season, you had your one loss to a Kentucky team was at Lexington Catholic. You had Cooper Robb playing point guard at that time, and after that game, you went away from that a little bit. You kind of moved Cooper around. You've been having Cooper play the point a lot more the past couple of games. Is that because he's kind of found his confidence level?
Cooper's really started playing well. He got off to a little bit of a rough start, and again, where he hadn't played, he hadn't played a game of basketball since the summer, and just getting back in the flow again. But and then in practice, Cal, you observe, and we watch the games, and it's just he's really come on. I think he's a lot tougher with the ball now. He's a lot more, like I keep telling Cooper, you put that ball on the floor with force, it comes back to your hand a lot faster. You're not no slow, lazy dribble. So he's getting more quicker with the ball and everything, and he brings experience. He's been there before and everything, and he really looks good there right now, and he's our best point guard right now. The other guys, not as consistent. Not as consistent offensively or defensively. So I think Cooper brings that consistency there, and we're looking for that we got to have that down the stretch because we try to eliminate turnovers.
Kind of shows you it's such a long season. There's a lot of ebb and flow. There's a lot of, what's working one day might not be working a week from now.
Exactly, Cal. And as coaching, is our system and our program, it's all about practice. We emphasize what we do in practice and what you do in practice. Like you get playing time in practice. Games are just rewards. Yeah. What you do in practice determines that. So a lot of that shifting and moving around of late has been because of what we've had in practice and observing practice and doing that and it's ongoing. That can change anytime.
Caleb, you being a senior on the girls' show this week, we talked about time being short. Up on that whiteboard there that the viewers can't see, they've got the number of games and practices and days left in the season written down. As a senior, that's got to be in the back of your mind pretty strong right now. The time's winding down. Is that kind of a lot of mixed emotions?
Yeah, I've been playing basketball all my life, so seeing that coming to an end here, it's disappointing. I'd like to play basketball for the rest of my life if I could, but at the same time, I want to be in the moment. I want to make the best of what I can. Try to create the best team so we can, hopefully elongate that season.
What are your plans academically and goals-wise in the future? Where are you going next year?
Well, hopefully I will attend the United States Naval Academy. I've received a nomination from Congressman Andy Barr, and so in that process, and I've also received admission from Louisville, so it's kind of picking between the schools and hopefully major in something in engineering.
You don't get a lot of players that say they've been being considered for the Naval Academy over the years.
We all sleep a lot better at night. We have guys like Caleb at the Naval Academy. I think we need people like that, serving our country, and that's only about a $300,000 scholarship. about $300,000 into you. So that's a pretty good scholarship. It's no cakewalk. It's no cakewalk, but it's really. When you come out there, you're set for the world.
It's not the easiest path to choose, but it's.
But I see Coach Helton stuff on the wall. I think about 7 days. I don't think that far ahead.
Try not to. Right. Let's not think that far ahead. Let's talk about this weekend. You've got a trip to Henry Clay, and that's never easy, is it?
It never is.
We talk about Bryan Station, and no matter what the record says, you had lost 3 of the last 4 years at Bryan Station.
At Bryan Station, I never, Cal, when I came here 23 years ago. The only thing they asked me when I took the job, they said, Coach Hicks, would you please play the Lexington schools? Because Lexington was just so dominant in basketball. And I said, yeah, I'll play anyone that would play us. And then 23 years later, to be able to beat Bryan Station with a running clock, I think during that game, I pinched myself. Am I dreaming? Is this a dream? Is this really happening? Yeah. Because there is no city in America with basketball any more rich for its size, obviously New York, but for its size than Lexington. Over the last 100 years, Lexington, for its size, has, gosh.
There's 2 things people think of with Lexington: horses and basketball.
Right? and to be able to do that, and then, like I say, gosh, schools like Bryan Station, their tradition, and then over to Henry Clay. These guys grew up in their world where we were beating and competing and beating with those teams, and so they probably take it for granted. But I never will. I'm from Everett, so the mountains. To think of ever playing Henry Clay,
it's still a big deal to you, right?
I would never. If I saw Henry Clay play, I was having to pay to get in. I wasn't getting in. I wasn't playing them with it, so I would never take that for granted. And they really, again, it's just the tradition of those places. And that's what we've developed here over the last few years, and that's something we're really proud of. But the Henry Clay will be a battle down there, and then Saturday we got Southwestern. They're ranked 8 or 9 in the state.
They're at the top of the 12th region. You're near the top of the 11th region. I guess might as well let the cat out of the bag. They had the big draw for the Sweet 16 today, and those are the 2 regions that would meet in the first round. So some people's mind, this is a potential preview. A long way between now and then, but these are 2 teams that could meet more than once, I guess.
I know I had people calling me all day today, and I said, guys, I don't care. I said, guys, I've had teams before that won the state but didn't get there.
Right.
You can't win if you don't get there, and you can't. I mean, it's great to know if you get there that you have a good chance to do that thing, but you got to get there, and I've had teams in Scott County that could have won the state that didn't get there over the years, so I don't pay a lot of stock. I know in '98 '99, a guy came in, they did a movie called Great Balls of Fire, or something like it, some kind of movie. I never watched it. We got beat in the finals that year in the States, and I ain't watched that movie.
No,
we get beat, I don't
watch the end of that. Burn the tape, right?
I don't watch it. Matter of fact, I don't watch many games in the past, history games. Somebody asked me about state tournament games, and I've never watched a state tournament game over there. You know, that we played in. I'm always maybe thinking ahead to next year, watching those, but I don't do that much. But I'm afraid if I watch them, we get beat.
So you're afraid the ending will change? He talked about the Lexington schools. Do you get especially fired up or more fired up to play them? You've been through quite 4 years now of those.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a good game, and so you always want to beat them. Especially these previous years, we've had Henry Clay and Bryan Station give us a loss, and so we always want to go in there and play our best and beat them. The recent years have been Dunbar. That's been one of those other teams that we've really needed to get a win.
You know, I got tickled Calvin at Lexington schools in 07 when we went undefeated in Kentucky. We went 3-0 Kentucky, won the state championship. Matt Walls, who's assistant at Georgetown and teaches here now. Matt, before every ball game, he'd go home and watch Hoosiers. And he kept on carrying all the way through this. And then finally got down toward the state tournament, and I said, Matt, we're the team that lost in the Hoosiers. I said, we're the big school. I said, we were playing Paintsville.
You don't need to get out the measuring tape.
We was playing Paintsville in the championship game of the state tournament. And Matt said, that afternoon, Matt sat around watching Hoosiers all afternoon. I said, Matt, we're the team that Hickory beat. I said, let's don't watch the end of that game. I said, because we're the big school.
Sometime we're just going to have a coach's show and have Coach Hicks tell stories. I think that would be the best coach's show.
But Matt watches Hoosiers every day. He watches Hoosiers every day for every game.
What's on the other side of the weekend beyond those 2 games?
Well, hey, Cal, I'm glad you mentioned that because next week we're working right now with Cordia.
No.
Cordia, the little school over in Perry County in the mountains that has all 6'8", 6'9" guys from New Jersey. They're over there playing. We're working on them next Wednesday.
We're squeeze in a game.
We're trying to squeeze in the game. We got 1 game to play because we thought we was going to play 4 in the beach ball. We only played 3. So I've talked with Cordia, the coach, yesterday. So the girls have got a little manual that night.
Yeah.
So we're trying to maybe get Cordia to come in. Girls play at 6:30.
So we'll be here.
They'd be here. Hey, Cal.
Make it easy for me.
I'm from Harlan County. I'm from the mountains. I've played at Cordia.
You don't have any desire to go there.
You ain't never been to Cordia. Hey, Cal. I've been to Cordia. I've played at Cordia. I've coached at Cordia against Cordia. We ain't going back to Cordia. hey, we ain't going back. Hey, but we played here, and yeah, their gym's not very big, but they've got a really talented team. I know last week they said ESPN had been following them, trying to do a show on them or something for the All-A. They won the All-A last year, but Newport Catholic knocked them off first round this year.
You beat the All-A champions this year, Paris and
then this other one, Newport Catholic.
Yeah, you beat both of the finals.
So that was a good.
Just a sign of how tough a schedule it's been, and now they're adding more teams to it.
So Cordy would be a good side. They have a lot of big guys, so it'd be a good test for us.
Can't wait for it. Can't wait for next week. Can't wait for the month of February. Looking forward.
And then they call next weekend. We'll talk about it next week. But there's a special program. And I'm saying it's not for myself, but in the last few years they started the Kentucky Basketball Hall of Fame, and the goal has been over the last 10 years, by next year, 2017, to get the top 100 in there. The top 100 is involved in basketball. It's been a part of high school basketball in Kentucky for the past 100 years. And we got a great tradition here, but we've got one person as a player in that, Yakari Figs. So next Saturday it's also senior night,
February 11th.
Before the Little Easter game, they're going to honor Yakari and myself. I guess they think they got to stick some dummy in there. I guess they got to find 100. We got 99. They said, let's just stick him in.
Make it a nice round.
So we got to have 100. Let's put him in. But I think Yakari and I both get honored that night. They do a ceremony in E-Town where the Hall of Fame is, but they also come to your school and present a real nice plaque that the schools hang in the schools. But it is an honor, right? And Yakari Figs, gosh, she's a. They're
all you gotta say is WNBA. This school,
not just for Scott County, but Cal, she was won a state championship. She won as a leader. She won an NCAA championship for Purdue as a leader. She won a WNBA as a leader. And she survived my psychology classes. I taught her psychology. I don't think she ever missed a question. And looking back, I should let her teach that class. I could have been out and practice ball. I should let her teach it. She never missed a question. She was always 100 average every month.
We're going to have so much fun stuff to talk about in the month of February. I can't wait. Thanks, Caleb. Thanks, Coach. And thank you, viewers. We'll see you next time. See you on the sidelines.